There's a moment when love stops begging and dignity quietly steps forward. And when that happens, everything changes. They can feel it before they fully understand it. The way you no longer over-explain. The way your silence doesn't feel empty, it feels decided. The way your energy no longer reaches for them, even though the love once did. And that's when confusion hits them hardest. Because they expected tears. They expected you to keep choosing them at your own expense. They expected love to stay louder than self-respect. But instead, they're standing in front of someone who chose inner strength over emotional attachment. This video is about what truly goes through their mind when they realize your dignity has become stronger than your love for them. Why this shift unsettles them. Why your calm presence triggers memories they can't escape. And why, for the first time, they start questioning their own choices, not yours. If you've loved deeply and then finally chose yourself, this message was meant to find you. Stay with me. 1. The moment they notice the shift. The first thing they notice isn't your absence, it's your stillness. You're no longer emotionally reactive. No longer explaining your worth, no longer trying to be understood by someone who chose misunderstanding over effort. And that change doesn't go unnoticed. It creates a quiet discomfort inside them. They replay old interactions in their mind, trying to locate the exact moment when you stopped chasing clarity and started choosing peace. Because the version of you they were used to was emotionally available, patient, forgiving, even when it hurt you. That version made them feel safe in their inconsistency. But dignity rewrites the dynamic. Now when they see you, they feel something unfamiliar, uncertainty. They can't read you the way they used to. Your energy doesn't lean forward anymore. It stands upright. And deep down, they understand what that means. You didn't stop loving because you stopped caring. You stopped loving at your own expense. This is when respect quietly replaces control. They begin to sense that they no longer hold the emotional upper hand. Your silence isn't punishment, it's protection. And that realization hits their ego harder than any argument ever did. Because arguments meant engagement. Silence means resolution. They start questioning themselves, not in a dramatic way, but in the quiet moments, late nights, random pauses, the times when they expect you to reach out, and you don't. That's when it sinks in. You didn't leave emotionally to be noticed. You left emotionally to be free. And freedom is something they never thought you'd choose over them. 2. Why your dignity triggers their ego. Dignity is unsettling to someone who benefited from your emotional availability because it exposes a truth they tried to avoid. You were always capable of choosing yourself. They just never thought you would. When they see you standing firm, no longer bending your boundaries to keep the connection alive, it forces them to confront their own behavior. And instead of blaming you openly, their mind starts justifying itself silently. They think about how much you tolerated, how many chances you gave, how patient you were when clarity should have been offered freely. And suddenly, your dignity feels like a mirror they didn't ask to look into. Your strength disrupts the version of the story where they were always in control. They may feel irritated by your calm, confused by your composure, even defensive at times. But underneath all of that is something deeper, awareness that they underestimated your self-respect. Because dignity doesn't announce itself, it doesn't argue, it doesn't threaten to leave. It simply withdraws its energy, and that withdrawal creates a vacuum where their ego once thrived. Now, instead of feeling chosen, they feel uncertain. Instead of feeling admired, they feel questioned by themselves. Your dignity doesn't chase closure, it creates it. And they can sense that the version of you they once had access to is no longer available. 3. What they feel but never admit. They feel loss, but not the kind they can explain easily. because you didn't leave in chaos, you didn't burn bridges, you didn't demand apologies or closure conversations. You simply stopped abandoning yourself, and that makes the loss harder to process. They miss the way you softened situations, the way you made emotional space for them, the way you stayed when it would have been easier to walk away. But now they're realizing something uncomfortable. Your love was a privilege, not a guarantee. They begin to feel a quiet regret, not always about losing you, but about how they handled you, about the moments they delayed effort, about the times they assumed you'd always be there. And the hardest part, they can't undo it. Your dignity removed the emotional access they once took for granted. And even if they wanted to reach out now, they sense that the old dynamic wouldn't work. Because you wouldn't meet them where you once did. You've grown past that point. They feel your absence not as silence, but as presence without permission. And that realization lingers longer than they expect. 4. How your silence rewrites their perception of you. Silence changes perception more than words ever could. When you stop explaining yourself, they're forced to fill in the gaps. And the story they create isn't always flattering to them. They start remembering your consistency, your patience, your emotional depth, and suddenly the narrative shifts. They no longer see you as someone who needed them. They see you as someone who chose them, and then chose themselves. That reframe changes everything. Your silence communicates maturity, emotional intelligence, inner alignment. It tells them you no longer need validation to know your worth. And that realization quietly elevates you in their mind. They may not say it, they may not act on it, but they feel it. Respect grows where dependency once lived. 5. Why they start questioning their decisions. Once dignity replaces emotional pursuit, clarity follows. They start wondering whether they misjudged you, whether they mistook your patience for weakness, whether they assumed your love would always wait. And now, faced with your absence, they replay moments differently. Conversations feel heavier, missed opportunities feel louder, and the connection they once felt secure in now feels unfinished. Not because you left loudly, but because you left whole. They begin to sense that they lost someone rare, someone who loved deeply but respected themselves more. And that realization doesn't fade quickly. It stays. 6. The final realization they can't escape. The final realization comes quietly. They understand that your dignity didn't destroy the connection. It revealed the truth of it. That love without respect was never sustainable. That your strength wasn't coldness. It was clarity. They realized that if they ever cross your path again, they wouldn't meet the same version of you. They'd meet someone grounded, self-honoring, unavailable to emotional confusion, and that version commands respect, whether they're ready for it or not. If you're watching this and it resonates, know this: you didn't lose love. You outgrew a version of it that required self-betrayal. Dignity doesn't mean you loved less. It means you finally loved yourself enough. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, subscribe to this channel. Here, we explore emotional truth, intuition, healing, and silent strength. You're not alone on this journey, and more clarity is coming. Subscribe now.